What's up, everybody? Been a while. Sorry about that. And here I was trying to post at least one long form video for you guys a week, and at this point I think it's probably been about a month, so didn't quite hit that goal. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually a pilot in real life, so the holiday season tends to be pretty busy for us, and I definitely underestimated how busy I was actually going to be. But I was able to at least get some shorts out there for you guys, which I actually think are pretty good, so check those out next if you haven't, as well as follow me on TikTok because I post those there as well. But as I'm sure you guys could tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking to you about my credit card strategy for 2025, and I am super excited to share it with you guys for a couple of reasons. And by the time you guys are watching this, it's probably going to be mid to late February, but better late than never, I guess. The first reason is because I'm actually a pretty big nerd when it comes to this stuff, and if you dug deep enough to find this video amongst all the other credit card videos, I think I can safely assume that you are too. And I'm really excited to relate to you guys on that level because I actually have a lot of unique perspectives and ideas that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about. I think I can show you guys a perspective on some of these cards and strategies that I think is a little bit unique. And as always, I'm super excited to get your guys' comments to see what you think because I'm always trying to learn, and if you're down this far in the credit card rabbit hole, I'm sure you feel the same way. And the second reason I'm super excited to share my credit card strategy with you guys is because this is going to be by far the biggest year for my credit card strategy. Technically, this whole thing started near the end of 2024. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but you know what I mean. 2025 is going to be massive. So with all that said, go ahead and relax, grab a drink, drop a like if you're feeling generous, and let's get into it. So like I was saying, before we get to the credit cards I plan to add in 2025 specifically, I think it's very important that I set the stage with the last two cards I added in 2024. These being the Amex Gold Card and the Capital One Venture X. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of these two credit cards, and honestly, I could probably stop here and be pretty happy. But I'm spending my free time making a credit card YouTube video, so I think you guys can tell I'm probably not stopping here. And that's because, in my opinion, the best way to win at this whole credit card game is to continuously take advantage of welcome bonuses. We'll talk more about that specifically here in a bit, but let me just quickly break down why I added these two cards. So first, I added the Capital One Venture X back in August of 2024. This card is actually what sent me down the credit card rabbit hole in the first place, and the reason why I'm talking to you guys right now. Back in July, my credit score reached 750, which I knew that meant I could get a nice credit card, but I didn't know where to start. Up until that point, I was just using my Discover It card that I got way back in 2020 as a student. And I knew there were credit cards out there with a lot more benefits, and I figured now that I had a high credit score, I could start looking into those and see what I could get. So I started asking my friends and family what cards they recommended. I had people recommending cards from simple cashback cards like the Wells Fargo Active Cash all the way to the Amex Platinum. And I found that most people couldn't give me a good answer on all the things that their credit card offered, or even why they're paying an annual fee. So because of this, I started looking on YouTube. Big shout out to Daniel Braun, Ask Sebi, Spencer Johnson, and others, because at the very least, I found something that I find very fun to spend my time doing. But long story short, after a ton of research, I decided to go with the Venture X. And this is the first big spot where I think my strategy diverged from a lot of other people's strategies, but hear me out because I think it actually makes a ton of sense. Obviously, going from a simple cashback card like the Discover It card all the way to the Capital One Venture X is a huge leap, but there's one super big reason for that. And that reason, as I'm sure you guys know, is Capital One is notoriously difficult to be approved for if you have too many credit cards. I've seen a ton of really smart people, including other credit card YouTubers, not able to get this card just because they have so many credit cards by the time they try to apply. And I did not want that to be me, so I decided to jump on it right away. Now, obviously, it probably would have been slightly more efficient to slowly build up my credit card portfolio in the years prior to this. But like I said, until this point, I had just been using my Discover card, and I wasn't even looking into optimizing my credit card strategy until I had a credit score of 750. If I knew back then what I know now, I obviously would have added a couple more cards along the way. But honestly, I'm not that upset about how this turned out at all, because I ended up applying for the Venture X with only 2 credit cards on my portfolio. So because of this, I was easily approved, and now I have a card that, in my opinion, is not only the best catch-all card on the market, but for me personally, the best luxury travel card as well. The main reason for this is because I live in the Denver area, so my home airport is DIA, that has a Capital One lounge. DIA does have a Centurion lounge as well, so I could get the Amex Platinum card. However, for me, the annual fee on the Platinum card is just way harder to offset than the annual fee on the Venture X. The ease of offsetting the annual fee, as well as the 2x back on everything, made this the best card for me to start with. not even to mention all the luxury perks and benefits that it comes with. Check out some of the other videos on my channel if you want to learn more, but it's safe to say I'm really happy I went with this card, and it's going to set me up really nicely for all the other cards I plan to add. And speaking of other cards, the next card I added in November of 2024 was the American Express Gold Card. Same concept here. If you want to learn more about the specifics of this card, check out some of the other videos on my channel, but I'll give you a quick rundown why I added this card next. The first thing that I like to look at when deciding to get a new credit card or not is actually the annual fee on the card. I know a lot of people look at the welcome bonus on the card first, but for me, I'm actually looking at building a long-term strategy here, so the annual fee is far more important in the long run. But like I said earlier, going for welcome bonuses is still a huge part of my overall credit card strategy, and we'll talk about that more in a bit. But if you didn't know, the Gold Card recently went from a $250 annual fee up to a $325 annual fee. And I have heard a ton of people that really hate this, but for me, just one of the credits that they added makes up this value and more. And of course, I'm talking about the Resi credit. This is a $100 annual credit that is divided into $50 every 6 months. And at first when I heard about this, I didn't really think I was going to use it very much because I thought only very expensive restaurants were on Resi that I didn't go to very often. However, once I looked into it, I realized a couple of my girlfriend's favorite restaurants are already on the platform. Plus, you don't even have to use the Resi app to make a reservation. You just have to dine at the restaurant and you're given the credit. And unlike the Delta cards, $50 every 6 months is way easier to use than $10 a month. Because this credit is so easy to use, if you got value from the Gold Card before, I think you'll just get more value from it now. This is because the annual fee increased by $75, but this credit is worth $100, so you get positive $25 on that increase with just that credit alone. Not to mention, if you value the Dunkin' credit at all, that's $84 more in your pocket. Me personally, I don't value that Dunkin' credit at all, but through the other credits that are offered on the card, I get positive value on my annual fee through my natural spending habits. Not to mention, little spoiler alert, but I don't plan on adding the Amex Platinum anytime soon, so this is the best card for me to get the American Express ecosystem. But as always, with all of my cards, I'm continuously evaluating my spending habits to make sure that I'm still getting positive value from every card that I get. And with the Amex coupon book trend, I don't know if this card will always make sense for me, but it does right now. But now we're getting into the new cards that I plan to add in 2025, and just in case the Gold Card ever doesn't, the next card I plan to add is the Capital One Savor. And I can already hear you guys in the comments saying, why am I adding the Capital One Savor card if I just added the Amex Gold Card? But hear me out. Like I just said, I'm always reevaluating my spending and if I'm getting positive value for my cards. And with the Amex Gold Card being a very expensive card, I could easily see myself having to cancel it down the line. Because of this, I want to have the next best option when it comes to food spend, and in my opinion, that is easily the Capital One Savor. The Capital One Savor is a no annual fee card that offers 3% back on dining and groceries, as well as streaming and entertainment, and 8% back in Capital One Entertainment. It also offers 5% back on Capital One Travel, but since I have the Venture X, I won't be using it for that, obviously. And since I have that Venture X, I actually have the ability to change that 3% back into 3x miles back, which has a lot more value if you're on team travel like me. These 3x categories are obviously not as good as the 4x back with the Gold Card. However, I want to get the Savor now because, like I said, Capital One is super picky on approving you if you have too many credit cards. So I think it's worth it to get it now, throw it on a streaming service or two, and hold on to it just in case I ever have to get rid of the Gold Card. And like I said, I always want to be going for new welcome bonuses, and this has a very easy welcome bonus to hit. Current public offer, and most likely the one I'll be going for, is $200 back after spending $500 in the first 3 months. However, like I said, since I have the Venture X, this $200 will actually be earned as 20,000 miles, which has a lot more value. I plan on adding this card at the end of February and having the welcome bonus done within that first week. And that is because I currently have a targeted offer for the next card I plan on adding, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I know, it's pretty backwards that I have both the Capital One Venture X and the Amex Gold Card before getting the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but here we are. I've had my eye on the Chase ecosystem for a while now. I just thought it was more important to lock in getting those Capital One cards before adding it. And also, I thought it was worth it to take advantage of an elevated offer on the Gold Card. I think I forgot to say that, but like I said, check out my video on the Gold Card if you want to learn more about that. But as of time of recording, the public offer for the Chase Sapphire Preferred is 60,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. This is a very solid welcome offer for a card with a $95 annual fee. However, like I said, the reason my timeline has been moved up is because I got this targeted welcome offer in the mail for 80,000 points after the same $4,000 in spend. And this offer has to be accepted by March 10th, and I really want to take advantage of it. But like I said, the most important thing for me when deciding to add a card or not is evaluating the annual fee. The Chase Sapphire Preferred has a very manageable $95 annual fee, but it also comes with a $50 hotel credit that can help offset that. This credit does have to be used through the Chase travel portal, and since I plan on booking most of my hotels with Chase by transferring my points to Hyatt, I actually don't value this credit at the full $50. I decided to value this credit more along the lines of $20 to $40 just because I don't think I'll be using this credit every year. This does knock my annual fee somewhere in the ballpark of around $60 a year, and for me, that's well worth it for the simple reason of having access to Chase's transfer partners. At time of recording, the points guy values Chase Ultimate Reward points at a value of 2.05 cents per point, which is the top of the market along with Bilt. And a huge reason for this is because Chase has Hyatt as a transfer partner, which is why I wanted access to this ecosystem. Both Amex and Capital One's transfer partners are not very good on the hotel side. So once I add the Chase Sapphire Preferred, I can focus on using both of my other ecosystems to book first and business class flights and use my Chase points to book hotels. And honestly, in my opinion, having this ability to transfer points out to Hyatt is worth the $95 annual fee by itself. This, along with that targeted welcome offer, are the main reasons I plan on adding this card. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, the multipliers on not just the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but all Chase cards are pretty lackluster. For me, after getting the welcome bonus, I really only plan on using the Chase Sapphire Preferred for some streaming services and if I ever pay for parking or something like that. I'll be making a full video here shortly where I go more into the spending multipliers of the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but for now, just know that they don't play a big part in my overall strategy. This card fits into my long-term credit card strategy simply because it allows me to transfer those Chase points out to more valuable partners like Hyatt. And also it allows me to pool all the Chase points I've earned from other cards as well. And this is where my strategy gets pretty interesting. I'll be adding the Chase Sapphire Preferred in that first week of March, and the welcome offer will probably take me the full 3 months to hit, which means I'll be looking to add my next credit card somewhere around July of 2025. And for those of you keeping score at home, that puts me at 424 with over a year left until one of those credit cards falls off. And like I've been saying, a huge part of my credit card strategy is to constantly be going for welcome offers, so we're in a little bit of a pickle. Real quick, for those of you who don't know, the 524 rule is a rule from Chase that says if you've been approved for 5 personal credit cards within the preceding 24 calendar months, you will automatically be denied for your next credit card application with Chase. But notice it says personal cards. It doesn't say anything about business cards. And guys, this is where I need your help. My goal is that by July, I'll have a bigger proof of concept with this YouTube channel so that I can apply for business credit cards. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, you can actually apply and be approved for business cards with very little proof of concept of a business, but I don't know if that's the strategy that I want to go with personally. I'm hoping that by July, I'll have enough proof of concept to feel very comfortable in applying for a business card with this YouTube business here. So like I said, if you've enjoyed this video so far or it's given you some value, dropping a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing would go a huge way in making this a possibility. So for those of you who do, thank you very much. It actually makes a huge difference and more of a difference than I ever thought it actually would, so I appreciate it. But anyway, let's assume that all goes well and I can apply for a business credit card instead. I'll be making a video here soon going into more detail onto why this is so powerful. But for now, the reason I want to add a business card is because it allows me to go for another welcome offer without adding to my 524 status. And I want to do this at 424 because I want to be eligible for the Chase Ink cards. Even though business cards don't add to your 524 status, if you currently are at 524, Chase will still deny you for an Ink business card. And I want to make sure that I'm eligible for Chase Ink cards because these cards regularly have extremely powerful welcome bonuses and low annual fees. And the first Chase Ink card I plan on adding is the Chase Ink Unlimited. The reason I plan on adding this card is because it has a 75,000 point welcome offer after spending $6,000 on the first 3 months. On top of that, you're earning 1.5x on all of that spend required to get the welcome bonus in the first place. And also I want to start with a nice no annual fee catch-all card for my business. And like I said, I plan on adding this card sometime in July of 2025. And it'll take me 3 months to hit this bonus. And this will pretty much bring me to the end of 2025, which means I plan on going into 2026 at 424 and a ton of options on where I want to go next. And as you guys know, the credit card market is constantly changing, and in a year's time, it might look completely different than it does right now. So it's really hard to speculate where I'm going to go next in 2026. But my 2025 strategy is going to put me in a really good spot to be able to do whatever I need to do and earn a lot of points along the way. And that, along with the premium travel and other benefits on these cards, is why I'm so excited for my 2025 strategy. Like I said at the start, I'm really curious what you guys think of my credit card strategy for 2025, so go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments below. But overall, I hope you guys learned something, or at least were able to enjoy someone talking about credit cards for a while. Subscribe if you want to see more, drop a like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.